What's up, everybody? I'm here with the legend, Israeli MMA fighter Raphael Aronov. Raphael, how are you? It's an honor to talk to you.
I'm good, my brother. Thank you very much.
Of
Not
course,
a legend yet, just a legend in the making, maybe.
a legend in the making. That's even more exciting. We got you before you hit the pinnacle. Um,
Working hard for it, working hard for it.
Amazing, amazing. So you're coming off a very big win against Jamie. I'm blanking on his last name, but very tough opponent.
Richardson.
Jamie Richardson, thank you. Very tough opponent, very game. Um, it was a back and forth battle in the first round, but in the second round, you got him in a slick arm triangle. You dropped him, got him in that slick arm triangle. Can you kind of walk me through what was your mindset in that fight? I'm sure you've had to talk about this a lot the past couple of days after that win, but just walk me through that fight.
Yeah, no, it's totally okay. So actually we knew Jamie is tough, and we knew the first round is gonna be hard round. We also knew I might lose the first round. I'm kinda tend to lose the first round in my fights. So it happened again, and it's not that I mean to do it, but sometimes it happened, and it happened again. And then we just knew we're gonna break him with the pressure at the second round. We knew my cardio is gonna be there, and eventually he melted. He didn't hold up to the pressure, and perhaps to him, he got me rocked in the first round. He got me with that guillotine, so it wasn't an easy fight. And we knew him coming off three losses, he'll be in his best shape, and he'll be as dangerous as ever. So we took it very seriously and prepared very hard for it, and pushed. I pushed myself, or my coaches pushed me the hardest, and it paid off.
It paid off big time. So going off of that, what are your goals for the near future? What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to try to win a belt in Cage Warriors, or do you want to go straight from Cage Warriors to a bigger promotion like PFL, UFC? What's the plan for you?
Yeah, so there is an tournament and prize fighter tournament in my weight class,
Mhm.
which is the welterweight division in Glasgow, in Scotland, in September. A prize fighter, which is a tournament for two fights in one night, and the winner gets 50 G's. So I'm hoping to. I'm not. I finished the fight, took some days off, enjoyed London, have been in UFC 304, had some fun. And when I got back home, I even before in Manchester already, I got back to work, no injury free, healthy. So it's on the 7th of September. It's pretty close. Saturday it'll be 5 weeks out, and Cage Warriors published only two names by now, so I'm still kind of have some hope to get in that tournament. But if not, so there are three events in September for
Mhm.
Cage Warriors. One in Glasgow, and then later two in Manchester. One day after day. So yeah, so I'm looking to fight in any of those. Um, I still have three more fights on my contract with the organization, with Cage Warriors,
Yeah.
and I'm very grateful. And Cage Warriors feels really like home for me. I'm definitely aiming to win the next 2 to 3 bouts, and then getting a title shot. Of course, rather sooner than later. But I think with I finish fights and people like to see it. My fights
Yeah.
are always entertaining, 100% finish rate. So even when I lost to a guy who is, I think, in my opinion, championship level, O'Neal Brown, and I
Mhm.
was very close to finishing him. So I've corrected my mistakes, and with a couple more wins, I'll be back in the picture of fighting for a title. There is a title fight in Manchester in September. So if I'll fight on the same card, I'll be there. I'll be watching. That's ideal for me. If not the prize fighter tournament, of course. Um, the Irish guy will be fighting the guy who went to the tough season and got knocked out in the first fight. So it's an interesting fight. I'll definitely be interested in watching it live, and we'll see how things plays out.
Yeah,
My ideal is to be on that tournament, of course.
prize fighter.
Just because, yeah, the prize fighter, not because of the money. The money is a nice bonus,
Yeah.
but mostly because I was live in the tournament in the bantamweight division, and the guy who won the tournament is guaranteed now for a title shot. So that's what I want. I want to win a belt in Cage Warriors.
Right.
That's my goal, and then guys who win belts in Cage Warriors, the future is pretty clear for them. Um, so yeah.
That's amazing. So prize fighter, winning the belt in Cage Warriors, and then UFC. Speaking of people who had the belt in Cage Warriors, you have Jordan Vucenic, who's making his UFC debut right now. It's August 1st, so he's making his debut in like 2 days. By the time this episode comes out, it's probably going to be after his debut. We're going to know the results. But how does that make you feel, like seeing somebody who in your organization not too long ago make that jump from fighting Cage Warriors to fighting Guram Hutateladze in his UFC debut? Because that's not an easy fight. That's a very tough fight.
No, crazy fight, and there is actually a funny story there, because me and Jordan, we fought on the same card in London, and I've actually spoke to Jordan. We've waited together to get checked by the doctors, and we exchanged some words. And first of all, Jordan is an amazing fighter. Well deserved and long time waited UFC opportunity, and I'll be rooting for him. Of course, Gutiladze isn't an easy fight, but I think he wins it. And yeah, so Jordan actually told me he's planning to win the fight. He was the co-main event. He won the fight, no injuries, and he planned to replace somebody that will get injured in UFC 3 or 4 in Manchester. That didn't happen, but 1 week later he got the call, so I'm very happy for him, and that's just a motivation to me. Speaking to a guy, you fight with him on the same card, not that far from his. Because last time I fought for Cage Warriors, I was the co-main event, so not that far from his place.
Yeah.
And he's now in the UFC. So I totally understand the meaning of fighting for Cage Warriors, and that's why I'm fighting for Cage Warriors, because this is the ticket to the UFC. This is the best organization in Europe. Each fight you take here is a hard fight, and that's what I'm looking to. I'm not looking for easy fights. I'm looking for challenges. I'm looking to prove that I belong to that level, and I'm, it. As I said, 2, 3 more wins.
2, 3 more wins. You're fighting for that belt. I'm very excited to see it. You are a fan favorite in Cage Warriors. I think you've only gone to decision one time in your life, right? Like you're a straight up finishing machine. So
yeah, and that I've gone to a split decision with the guy who is now 10-0. Winning fights in UEA Warriors and stuff like that. So it's not a shame. He's a beast.
yeah,
I'm actually a friends with him now, because he's from Ukraine, and Israel and Ukraine are kind of on the same boat now.
yeah.
So we're speaking pretty a lot, and he's a great guy. Yeah, but I'm not leaving fights for the judges. I just don't like it. I always say it. When I come to fight, it either I'm getting knocked out, or I'm knocking a guy out, or choking him out. But I'm not leaving it to the judges. I just don't like it. And of course, when I fight, I most of the time fight with the local guys. So especially because of that, until maybe one day there'll be enough fighters in Cage Warriors to bring them to Israel.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Speaking on that vein, what does it mean to you to be representing Israel um, in the Cage Warriors, but more importantly, like on the global stage of MMA? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So the Israelis and our nation is now in a rough times, and just representing the nation and raising the flag, and even when I lost to Amil, and I walked out to the cage with a shirt in memorial for four friends I've lost in the 7th of October. So even when I lose, I always represent my country, and the people here are very proud of me in the losses, in especially, of course, in the victories. But I'll be always raising our flag, and especially winning in these times. The people here, they need something to cheer on and to be happy on, and it means the world to me. It's a great motivation as well for me. you know, you can see it now. Just today, two Israelis won bronze and silver medal in the Olympics.
Hmm.
So a girl and a guy. And Israel is just waiting, just going nuts. Everybody's so happy, and we just need that optimistic proportion. So just winning was so amazing, and it's a big motivation for me. I'll be
Hmm.
always looking to represent my country with a big pride. Yeah, so it means the world to me.
Yeah, yeah. Peter Palchik getting that bronze medal for Israel, man.
Yeah,
That was very cool to see. Very cool, especially since it's another combat sport, so it's right up our alley, you know?
yeah. Peter Pacek
Yeah,
is our guy.
yeah. Speaking of talented, up and coming, and kind of established combat sports athletes already, you're not alone in this endeavor, right? You have a younger brother, Eli Aronov, who's also a tank, just like his nickname serves. He's a tank. So how
Yeah, he
you
is.
guys train together, right? So how is that? Like, how is it training with your brother? Does he add fuel to the fire? Are you guys competitive with each other in training? Like, do you guys just drive each other forward?
Yeah, of course. We are very competitive with each other. When we spar, it always seems like a fight, and it's of course it's a good competition, and we're testing who's gonna get to the UFC first. Of course, eventually we're both gonna get there, and we're gonna be the Aronov brothers replacing the Diaz brothers. I don't know, but we're gonna be the next brothers fighting for the UFC. And yeah, it's a big it's a motivation. We're pushing each other, and it's not only my brother, but as well my sister is also training, and she's the number one ranked BJJ competitor at her weight class in the world.
Wow.
So yeah, so she's looking to win the worlds next year, the world games,
Hmm.
and after that, hopefully, I'm looking to drive her towards the MMA world.
Yeah.
So we'll be three brothers fighting for in mixed martial arts, because she's young. She's only 25. Yeah, so we are a fighter family, and it's just a motivation. We're just pushing each other, always keeping update and training together. She's training with the national team a bit
Hmm.
far from where I live, but when we get to train together, it's always awesome. And it's just so much fun when all the brothers share the same love to martial arts. And
Hmm.
yeah, as you said, always pushing each other, always more fun. When you can, he's always on my corner, and it's always more fun when you can share the love for this job, or you can say for this passion with somebody that close as your brother or sister. in that
Yeah.
case.
What's her name? Let's shout her out.
Her name is Pnina Aronov as well. She's, as I said, the number one competitor in BJJ in the world right now. She ranked number one, so big future for her.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you guys push each other physically, obviously. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure she tests your grappling. Ellie, I'm sure tests everything. Um, so going into the testing part of that a little bit, like how do you get yourself mentally prepared to go in there and fight? Because it's different for everybody, but it's also one of the harder aspects I feel of combat sports. Just mentally going in there prepared to risk it everything and just fight another human being. How do you get yourself ready?
Yeah, so of course, the obvious question is always to train as you fight and fight as you train. So I'm pushing, my coaches are pushing me to the limit when I train, and we basically do simulations of the fight, and we're making sure when we get to the cage, I felt the same feelings as I feel in sparring with five different guys each round, and fresh guys, stuff like that. So just the casual training, meanwhile, thing, and as well, I can of course share it. So I'm a police officer, special forces police officer in the Israeli forces in my day job. So when you do stuff like I do, okay, like on a daily basis, so fighting isn't that intimidating anymore.
Mhm.
Um, but of course, you get excited when you get to fight, and there is always the risk, and there is always the adrenaline. But it just something I love to do. So when I go there, I just having fun and enjoy myself, and that's it basically. The two
Yeah,
of the combination of the these two facts is a good way to I won't say avoid, because a fighter who says he is not afraid or he's not excited to get into a fight, or either he's a liar or he's a bit but in my
Mishugel.
case, yeah. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you're all around just like intensity, adrenaline all day, every day. You're out there doing very difficult stuff. Special forces in the Israeli police, MMA fighter. So how do you relax from that? How do you rest from that? How do you like separate and just chill and recover?
Well, I usually chill and recover because of with my wife. She's just amazing. She's very helpful in my career, and she's a big supporter. And of course, we just got married. We got married mid camp, so I was preparing for a fight. Then 1 month out, I got married, and then got back straight to camp.
Wow.
So it was interesting, but because of the fact she's such a supporter, we of course she knows how it is to be on a diet, and how it is to hardly prepare for a fight, and the mental aspect coming with it. So she knows I need the time off as well. So just spending time with her, and of course family, friends. So you don't need too much, and I'm always make sure when I travel to fight, because I don't get to fight in Israel anymore. So I spend some time in the places I travel to fight in, and going from time to time to a location. But eventually, fighting is what I love to do. So I don't really need time off of fighting. I tend to fight pretty frequently, because I fought in March, broke my hand, got surgery, and came back in July to win a fight just 4 months after it.
Holy shit. That's
Yeah,
crazy. 4 months after breaking your hand?
yeah, and
What
got
kind
surgery.
what kind of surgery did they have to do? It was invasive, I would imagine.
Yeah, it just they had to screw a bone in my hand, so it'll hold together, and then they took the screws out. Uh, so it wasn't the nicest operation, but I just stick to the recovery and did everything correct, and eventually won the fight. And I fought on the 20th of July, and I'm looking to come back on the 7th of September. So that's just less than 2 months after my fight. So as long as I'm healthy, fighting is what I love to do. So I don't need a vocation of doing
Right.
what I love. And because I'm sharing this passion with my wife, and she's very supportive, and she knows that what I love to do, and with my brothers and with my friends, so it just comes naturally. I don't really need a break from it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. So you broke your hand. You have this busy schedule of fights, dangerous day job. So what would you say is the biggest challenge or biggest sacrifice that you have to make in order to keep pushing your dreams and trying to make them a reality?
Well, the sacrifice is definitely, the time, because when you're in training camp, so of course the family, I'm living with my wife, so when either she wants it or not, I'll be back home after a long day of training and work and stuff like that. So I see her, so we're always comfortable and comforting. But my family, they're not living with me in the same city, and my friends as well. So it always pushes them to the side when I prepare for fights. And yeah, I think that's the biggest sacrifice. And of course, my wife is sacrificing as well, because she wants to go on a date, and she wants to have a dessert and stuff like that, but she can have it by herself. So
Yeah.
just the casual stuff. But I try to at least how do you say it? I try, when I finish the training camp and I win the fight or lose the fight, I try to make it up to her. Take her to some places and make sure we get have some good time together. And then I'm just back to training camp again. It's just a routine. And again, the fact she's so supportive and so I she came back from London a few days before me for her college studies. And when I came back home, on the door of our house, there was a picture of, just she wrote a kind of a letter which says, "I'm very proud of you, and I can't wait to for you to participate in the prize fighter tournament." With a picture of me, her, and my brother inside the cage after the victory we just had. So that's what I'm coming back to. So I don't need really any other motivation than that. Knowing she's so supportive and so is there for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Congratulations on your wedding, by the way. I don't know if I
Thank you
said
very
that
much.
before,
Thank
but
you.
Mazal Tov, congratulations.
Thank you, my friend.
That's awesome. So we talked a lot about MMA, right? But I want to ask you: is there any athlete outside of martial arts potentially that you look up to, or you take inspiration from, or is like a role model for you? Maybe some teammates, maybe some coaches.
So outside of the MMA,
Hmm.
well, actually, again, we go back to my wife. She's herself. We've talked of one of my motivations, which are my brothers, who are sacrificing so much to get their dream.
Hmm.
Um, so they are one of my biggest motivations, and my wife as well. She's, in addition to studying in the university, pursuing a career as a football referee, so which takes a lot out of you, and she's sacrificing a lot for that. So I don't need like a Kobe Bryant or stuff. No disrespect to those guys, of
Right.
course, but when you look up to a guys that are very close to you,
Hmm.
and are your motivation, because sometimes the Kobe Bryant or the I don't know, the George St. Pierre's, I don't know, they're just guys up there who you never met and you never know them, but you just see stories. So it's far, and sometimes it's like I don't know, a dream or something too big to look up to. But I have guys who I look up to very close to me, so I don't need much more than that.
I got
And
you.
of course, my parents who are worked. Sorry for the language, ass off to so me and my brother could grow up coming from a virgin country to Israel, then having almost no money and just making themselves here with jobs, stuff like that, making sure me and my brother grew up with nothing that is, we never didn't have anything or something like that. We
Right.
had it all. So I look up to them, of course. They also, how do you say the word? Never mind, I forgot it. But we grew up in a good house. So my parents are also somebody I look up to, and are still working hard even in their late age and stuff like that. So yeah.
Amazing. And you said you guys moved to Israel from another country. What country did you guys move
No,
from?
I was born here,
Hmm.
but my parents were born in Belarus. So in yeah
Wow.
in a city called Vitebsk.
Hmm.
So they moved here in the early 90s. Uh, yeah.
So they came over from the former
So
Soviet Union into Israel, built a life for you guys. That's amazing. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah,
why you use them as motivation. I can see that. That's a beautiful story.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, amazing.
yeah.
All right. We talked a lot about you as an MMA fighter, but I just wanted to ask, like, you as a person, like Raphael the man. Obviously, as an athlete, you're doing great. You're getting this win. You're finishing everybody. But as a man, as a person, what's going through your head? How are you doing? Like, just how are you? You know?
Yeah, yeah. Of course. So as I said, we spoke about it before. My nation is going through some rough times, and obviously, as a special forces police officer serving in the south of Israel on October 7th, as I also mentioned before, I've lost some good friends. So three friends that I've buried, and one friend who is still hostage in Gaza, waiting for him to come back. So just that fact is something to take a look at. Isn't easy, but we are, as a nation, we are fighters. We are a fighting nation since day one, basically, and that's in our blood. So that's also why I feel like I fight that well, because it just um, comes natural to me. And even though we struggle and we um, not mortgage like when somebody dies, you
Mourn?
yeah. So yeah, of course, but we always keep our head up, and we cherish their memories, and we are trying to always be optimistic, and generally I'm doing what I love in my life, and getting to fight, and I'm married to a woman I love, and I'm having fun, and I'm working in a job I love. So generally I'm good, but uh, from time to time, Israel, the people, the nation, the country is going through rough times, and this is just one of those periods in our life, and we will go out from this situation stronger and better.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's it. hopefully, of course, we are praying here for all the hostages to come back safely and as soon as possible to their houses and back home. And also praying for our soldiers to be safe and to get their job done and to come back safely home as
Yeah.
well. But generally, I'm really just in a good place in life. Having fun there and living the life I always wanted to do. Especially if you look back at a few years from now, like if you look back at the past. So I had an injury, a neck injury, almost retired from the sport because of I was on a skid, on a loss of few fights. I didn't get them wins, and then in addition, I had the neck injury, and started to thinking of retiring, and then at, at the beginning went to the police because I started to think of something else to do,
Hmm.
and then it just came up naturally because when I started working for the police, I started dating my now wife, and she was just going with me to training to watch, and she always was pushing me and was saying I've helped my brother to prepare for fights, and she was always saying, like, you're basically sparring as hard as you fight. Why don't you just go back and fight? That's what you so love to do. You're really good at it. Your brother is a fighter who is fighting for the contender series. He's a UFC level guy, and you're there pushing him. And sometimes he beats me, sometimes I beat him, of course. But you're there in his level. So why don't you just get back to fighting? And I give her a lot of credit for pushing me back to fighting. And the fact that I started that, in addition to me being in the police, and my job is, you just need to be in a very high and great shape because that's the special forces request. So then, when the nickname came up, the cop, because I'm a cop eventually, so things just sort themselves out, and ended up eventually pretty good, even though I lost my not this fight but the one before. Life is still good. I'm getting to do what I love, fighting for a great organization as Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
Never dreamed to be in such an amazing place. The place where guys like Conor McGregor, of course, and Paddy Pimblett, and plenty more guys started. So it's just amazing for me overall, and I'm really grateful.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, so Raphael, I got one final question for you. Um, what advice do you have, if any, for young MMA fighters, for young combat athletes like myself? I also compete at 170, but on a much smaller scale than you. So what advice do you have for people like myself, for other amateur fighters out there?
So when I started competing, I always tend to push myself because I was always thinking of a big goals, getting to the UFC, stuff like that. And I kind of forgot that I love fighting, and that what I really originally started fighting. So for me, the first advice is always remember, even when I now go to the cages, I always say to my corner, the last thing they say to me before I hug them and leave them to the fight is always remind me to just have fun and be myself, because eventually that's what I love to do. And I don't do it because I have to, or I don't do it because I have to be in the UFC, or that if I'm not getting to the UFC, I'm going to die or whatever. I just
Yeah,
love fight. So just
yeah,
remind yourself from time to time that you love fighting and you enjoy it, and that what you do, that and that's why you do it. That's the first thing. And of course, the casual stuff is as a guy, as a professional fighter, I've had 4 straight losses in my beginning in my career. So even if you lose, hard work eventually we pay off, either you want it or not. So even if you lose, it's not the end.
hmm
Everybody loses. Even Habib, a guy who's somehow like his record is undefeated, but man, I guarantee you he lost so much sambo competition. He lost so much sparring rounds in his gym and stuff like that. So everybody loses somewhere. So it's not the end of the world, and so just yeah, just that. Just keep working hard, keep believing, and there is a sentence in Hebrew that a drop is is curving in the stone not because of its power but because of its consistency.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a strong one. So just keep grinding and keep working hard, and eventually it will pay off.
Amazing, amazing, awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. I'm just gonna wrap it up. Do a quick little wrap up. Thank you guys. If you guys like this interview, follow Raphael Aronov on Instagram. Where can they follow you at? What's
Yeah,
your
so as you say, Raphael Aronov on Instagram, which is Rafaelaronov, just like that, simple. Mostly on Instagram. Yeah, I would love that. Guys, thank you very much for your time. I had so
course.
much fun. It was amazing. I had so much fun talking to you, and I appreciate your time and your platform, of course. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to speak one more time after I win 50 Gs in the prize tournament. And even
Yes.
if not, so after my fight in September, after I get another victory and one more step closer to a title shot.
Anytime you want to hop on the podcast and talk, always welcome. You're always welcome. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much, brother. Thank you
Just
so much.
awesome. Thank you guys. Follow the podcast. Love you guys.